is 27 News First at 6.
News is breaking tonight of an arrest in the case of a mummified body found stuffed in a trash can. We're live with the very latest.
From the sky and the ground, we'll show you the damage that fire caused at a Lexington home worth close to $750,000.
And our 27 News First investigation continues as we go undercover to show you just how easy it is to buy synthetic drugs, a product police say is putting people in danger. 27 News First at 6 starts now.
Good evening to you once again. Police have just announced they have charged a man with killing a woman whose mummified body was found in a trash can. Detectives are fresh off a late afternoon news conference where they announced some details at the police department about where things stand.
That's right. We were the first crew on the scene yesterday when police found the woman's remains. Today, our Andy Cunningham has been working to get some new information on the victim and her accused killer. He is live downtown. And Andy, what breaking details came out of this news conference late this afternoon?
Well, Amber, police have now charged 27-year-old Mark Adam Cave with murder and tampering with physical evidence in connection with Lexington's second homicide investigation of the year. It was a disturbing discovery, a woman's body in a mummified state stuffed inside a trash Herbie in a wooded area off Fortune Drive.
This all started back late December as a missing persons investigation, and we had some information yesterday that led us to the location where we found the body yesterday.
But police believe the body had been there much longer than that.
We have reason to believe at this point that it was months time, maybe as far back as June.
Through witness interviews and information police received yesterday, officers placed Mark Cave under arrest at 1 this afternoon.
How about a relationship between the suspect and the victim?
I'm not going to release that at this point.
Family friends first grew concerned last June when the victim hadn't been seen or heard from for some time, according to police, but for unknown reasons didn't report her missing until December the 28th. Again, we are still waiting to learn the identity of the victim. That information will come from the coroner's office. Now, the coroner himself did tell us, though, the victim died of blunt force trauma to the head. Live outside police headquarters, I'm Andy Cunningham, WKYT 27 News First.
Andy, we thank you. And now to a breaking story that we brought you at the top of 5:30. A school bus caught fire this afternoon after it collided with a pickup. Now, thankfully, the fire was quickly put out and no one is seriously hurt. This crash happened a few hours ago on Highway 80 in Perry County. A passenger in the pickup was flown to the hospital, but we've now been told the injuries are not life-threatening. 6 students and the bus driver were taken to a local hospital to be checked out. Sky First was in the air today over the home of a well-known Lexington landowner and businessman. The home, worth more than $700,000, caught fire this afternoon and has extensive damage, as you can see there. It has been a tough fire for firefighters to get out.
Yeah, they have been at the home on McMeekin Place since that fire broke out just before 1. This is an area off of Tates Creek Road where Coach Rick Pitino used to own a home. Our top story at 6 takes us live to the scene, and Brittany Pillet's talked to fire crews about how tough this fire was to put out. Brittany?
Amber, it was really the size of this home that created some obstacles for firefighters. You can see behind me that there are crews still on the scene monitoring hotspots of the Langley home. An established Lexington businessman received a phone call while in Florida that his home on McMeekin Place was on fire. Robert Langley is the owner of this home that filled with smoke and flames this afternoon. Langley is also the owner of one of the largest real estate enterprises in central Kentucky, including the second largest building in downtown Lexington.
This is a very extensive fire. It's a large house. It's very broken up. We had fires in probably 8 or 9 different areas in the home.
It took fire crews an hour and a half to put the fire out. Firefighters were up against some dangerous conditions.
It was also going up the walls and getting in the attic, and that just spread from room to room. 2 rooms on the back of the house flashed over, which is where they completely filled with fire, and they're not survivable if anybody's in them, including us.
Fire investigators are still working to determine how this home caught fire in the first place. Neighbors say they're glad no one was hurt, but that it's still unfortunate this happened to the Langley's home.
I feel sorry for the family whose house was affected by the fire.
And just to give you an idea of the conditions that these firefighters were up against, these air tanks at a typical fire, firefighters tell me they only need one of them today. Several firefighters needed 3 of these to keep the smoke out of their lungs. Again, no injuries though as a result of this fire. We are live in Lexington. Brittany Pauletz, WKYT 27 News First.
An intense fire, that is for sure. People living on McMeekin Place tell 27 News First that they're thankful firefighters were able to prevent flames and smoke from spreading to other homes. A man remains in critical condition tonight after his apartment building caught fire early this morning in Knox County. All 9 apartments in the Artemis building were destroyed. The fire broke out around 2 this morning while most people were sleeping, except for David Markham, who jumped into action when he smelled smoke and heard the alarms.
I kicked in the door and there was smoke everywhere, and I turned and looked, and it was a couch that was on fire.
Markham pulled the victim, Keith Bays, from his burning apartment. Bays was flown to UK with burns. An infant in another apartment was also taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation, and a firefighter was treated and released for asthma-related complications.
Well, just weeks after a man was found shot to death in his home, police are making a plea to the public for help. They say the leads have dried up in the murder of 52-year-old Paul Brewer, who was shot in his bed just days before Christmas.
Now, as Melissa Edizade reports, the Montgomery County Sheriff and Brewer's family are asking for leads.
Yeah, sure, a lot.
The memories of his little brother Paul and what happened on that December day.
It was unlike Paul to be late for anything. He was always on time or early.
So when Brewer didn't show up for a doctor's appointment, his family got worried.
When we didn't make contact, then my sister, she called the police.
And what police found, they did not expect. Paul Brewer, dead in his bed, shot multiple times.
There's no enemies. He's well-liked, very generous.
See things that happens in the big cities that doesn't happen in rural America, and unfortunately it hit home to us.
Although Brewer's family doesn't know a lot about what happened that day, they do believe that whoever did this didn't park in front of Brewer's house. They think they parked down the street away so nobody could see them. Especially since police say there was no forced entry into the house, another indicator leading them to believe Brewer might have known his killer.
We can't find anybody that can tell us that, they had a reason to do this.
Closure for the family and Brewer's 3 kids, but also for the Mount Sterling community.
And hopefully there's someone out there that knows something or seen something that would certainly help the police in solving this matter.
In Montgomery County, Melissa Edizade, WKYT 27 News First.
Now, obviously, if you have any information on Paul Brewer's murder, then you're asked to get in contact with the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office.
Well, they are a dangerous new breed of drugs, and they're not even illegal. They're sold as something else like incense, potpourri, or bath salts. 4 Kentucky counties have enacted ordinances to ban their sale, but the problem for counties like Laurel and Rowan is the makers keep changing the ingredients to skirt the law. As we continue our special WKYT investigation, Kristen Kendi takes our hidden camera to see just how easily kids can buy it.
Panther, bubblegum,
well,
head trip,
Cabrini Green, Mellow,
mind trip,
Skin Karma, or Hepatitis.
Things that usually catch the eye of younger crowd.
And it's the younger crowd making most of the buys.
Well, it's just purchased at local stores here. It's sold legally over the counter. And so the kids are easy to, it's easy for them to get it. It's just like going in and buying a pack of gum.
But the difference between a pack of gum and herbal incense is huge.
And of course, the children know that if you smoke it, you're going to get the side effects.
Studies show the side effects of smoking incense are just like smoking marijuana. One is illegal, the other can be picked up at a Richmond gas station. We took our undercover cameras into about half a dozen of them and came back with something called Aloha. Other stores known to carry incense in the past told us they stopped selling it.
What do you got? Got nothing really.
Herblings and stuff? No. No, I'm pretty sure actually right in this area it just got outlawed like last week.
Police can't do anything to the clerks that sell it. Incense is legal. The problem is when teens buy it and do exactly what the label says not to, consume it.
We're not having complaints from adults, showing up at the hospital, or adults, out on the street that are having these problems. It's all, juveniles and young adults.
Major Bob Mott's main concern now is getting parents to wise up to what their children are buying just blocks away from home. It is very frustrating. The parents aren't aware because they look at it as a legal substance, and a lot of them don't know that the reason why they're buying it is to ingest it, not to use it as incense. In Richmond, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT 27 News First.
Major Mott says even if Madison County outlawed the sale of herbal incense or synthetic marijuana, makers would alter the ingredients to stay one step ahead of the law. Now, our investigation continues at 11 tonight of synthetic marijuana, and that's where we're going to show you how dangerous it is. We take it to the state crime lab to find out and have it tested. That is tonight on News First at 11.
Well, it's prescription pills that lawmakers in Frankfort are trying to control right now, and today House Speaker Greg Stumbo filed a bill aimed at making it easier for law enforcement to catch abusers. He wants to require everyone who prescribes pills in Kentucky to register with Casper, the state's online program, and he wants police to have access to it. The bill would also require pain clinics be owned by licensed doctors. The governor says this bill is headed in the right direction.
I can just tell you that I am confident that we're going to end up with a very aggressive, strong measure that will make a dent in prescription drug abuse in Kentucky.
The proposed law would also require prescriptions for pain pills like hydrocodone and OxyContin be limited to a 30-day supply.
Sickness hits 2 Kentucky schools hard. Hear why they're closing their doors in hopes of getting children well. That's ahead.
And check your Powerball tickets because someone in Kentucky is holding one that's worth $1 million. We'll tell you where it was sold coming up.
Boy, another beautiful day on this Groundhog Day. Hard to believe it is early February with all the unseasonably mild air. Well, let's stick around for the weekend. Find out the forecast next.
Now, 27 First Alert weather.
Great looking Thursday here in central and eastern Kentucky on this Groundhog Day. Of course, with all the sun, plenty of shadows out there. So we'll see if we get that 6 more weeks of winter, or any winter period for that matter. Haven't seen a whole lot this year, and nothing here in the short term. Live First Alert Defender, all's quiet, looking good out there, and we'll see a nice evening, even though with the sun having set within the last couple of minutes, we're going to cool it off fairly quickly. Regional radar, nothing doing anywhere. That area of low pressure that brought the thunderstorms late last night exiting pretty rapidly here, and you notice the cloud-free skies, although a few high thin clouds beginning to drift in from the west. No problems whatsoever. Temperatures backing down a bit, now 52 Lexington, 50 from Jackson up to Ashland, Covington as well down to Somerset, 48 in Danville. The cooler air not too far off to the north here from Chicago to Detroit to Pittsburgh, only in the upper 30s, but you see Preston 60 now. Kansas City, St. Louis, Springfield. So the Missouri River Valley really enjoying a nice day as well. 40 to start, 55 for the afternoon high. Just a trace of rainfall, most of that coming right after midnight. 42 and 26, the average high and low. So in good shape with high pressure right overhead. So with the clear skies, light winds, little radiational cooling, even with those higher thin clouds out there, we're still looking good. But notice the cloudiness out here to the west. That's going to be associated with our next storm system making a run for the Ohio Valley just in time for the weekend. Tomorrow, okay, mid and upper 50s, but it's once we hit tomorrow night and into the day on Saturday, decent amount of moisture coming our way. So it's going to be wet for at least the first half of the weekend. A little cooler on Sunday, maybe a shower or two lingering, but we'll recover back up close to the 50-degree mark by the early part of next week. So as you look over the 7-day, you're thinking, hey, it's early February. You got to really be pressed to find anything to complain about, I guess.
No complaints. So we won't. All right.
We'll
Thank you, TG. Appreciate you. The government approved a change today that impacts 2 big cable companies right here in the Bluegrass. Hear what's being proposed for Insight and Time Warner coming up next. Well, a flu outbreak in 2 counties has really hit the schools there hard. Breathitt and Wolfe County schools are closed tomorrow because so many students are sick. They started noticing an increase in absenteeism on Monday. They hope keeping kids home tomorrow will help put things back to normal on Monday or so.
Well, there could soon be a change at the cable company. Time Warner's plan to buy Insight Communications has won government approval. The $3 billion deal is expected to close by the end of the year. Insight is the cable supplier for Lexington. Time Warner serves many outlying communities and southern Kentucky. Well, Kentucky has another millionaire. A $1 million winning Powerball ticket was sold at the Midway Travel Plaza in Frankfort. It matched all 5 numbers beside the Powerball in Wednesday night's drawing. No one hit the big jackpot, so that means Saturday's drawing will be worth $200 million. This is the second $1 million Powerball ticket sold in Kentucky in the past 5 days.
That's not that $1 million ticket in the floor over there, is it? Okay. UK's president says the university is moving on with plans to improve the campus despite budget cuts. Dr. Eli Capilouto told lawmakers in Frankfurt today the university is going to have to make some really tough choices because of $19 million in cuts proposed by the governor in the budget. He says agency bonding will help the campus replace thousands of dorm rooms.
It's going to make more sense to be able to take old buildings offline, introduce some new ones that we think can be more energy efficient and provide better learning.
Dr. Capilouto told lawmakers that a Memphis construction and management firm could start the project in a matter of months.
Well, tomorrow is the 9th annual Go Red for Women Day. Everyone is encouraged to wear red to raise awareness for the #1 killer in women, heart disease. The St. Joseph Heart Institute and the American Heart Association are teaming up to make ending heart disease a reality.
And while this is the #1 killer of women in Kentucky and across our nation, we're really making great progress. We have actually reduced the number of cardiovascular deaths over the last 10 years by about 20%. So we're making really good progress, but there's still a lot of work to do.
The Wear Red event for women will be held tomorrow at the Macy's in Fayette Mall from 11 to 1 and 4 to 6. You can get free blood pressure screenings, red dress pins, and educational materials. I'm a day early because I'm doing a Go Red event tonight.
That's right. You're headed down to Corbin.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yeah. Rob's coming up next, and the Cats have been trying to get more and more physical.
Yes, Coach Cal has wanted his players to develop a certain toughness, and the last couple of games, that's what they seem to be doing. How does Cal think it's all coming along? Sports is next. Coach John Calipari has been calling for his team to toughen up and deal with rough play. It's all about being physical. And over the last couple of games against LSU and Tennessee, there's signs that's happening. But it's still not where Cal wants it to be.
We had our guards at times. Duran went in there. Darius still. There's still plays that you got to want it. Terrence went baseline, and McBee kind of pushed him, and he never got to the rim. Come on, now that's got to be a dunk. You know, just go dunk the ball. So we're still not there. What they did to Anthony Davis is absolutely, when he caught the ball at the top of the key, mushed him. And again, that means toughness. And he just got rid of the ball a couple times. He wasn't ready to really be physical. So we got a long way to go with that. But we've made strides.
The UK signees Alex Poitras and Archie Goodwin have been added to the rosters of the Jordan Brand Classic, which features the best high school players in the country. Poitras and Goodwin become the 16th and 17th future Wildcats to play in the Jordan Brand. It'll be played in Charlotte, North Carolina on April the 14th. Well, former Wildcat J.B. Holmes, now nearly 5 months removed from decompression brain surgery, and for the second straight week, he is back playing on the Pro Golf Tour. He's playing at this week's Waste Management Phoenix Open at Scottsdale, where he's won twice, his only wins on tour. Holmes didn't make the cut in last week's Farmers Insurance Open in San Diego. His first time back since surgery, but he's just happy to be back playing again.
Last week, and hopefully I can improve on that. Didn't play that great, but it was just nice to get back out there and get back in the swing of things. And my game's not quite where I want it, but just trying to get out here and practice and just get my swing back.
Golfers are still on the course in Phoenix, but Holmes is 2 over through 9, still trying to find his swing. Josh Teeter, a 3 under today. He is tied for 13th place. Bourbon County has a new football coach, and he comes from one of the state's winningest programs. John Hodge introduced this morning as the Colonel's new head man. Hodge spent 10 seasons on the sidelines over at Boyle County, where the Rebels won several state championships. Hodge says he's excited about what's happening at Bourbon County.
It's an awesome opportunity. First, to be a head football coach. You know, it's always been a dream of mine. And, you know, Bourbon County has a lot of really good resources. They've got some great student athletes, and I'm really excited about getting going. And just because I think that it gives me an opportunity to win right away, and hopefully we'll get it going.
And this Saturday, a program note will have some high school hoops for you. It is Bryan Station and Lexington Christian. Tip-off is set for 8 o'clock, so after you watch the UK-South Carolina game, which is on ESPN, just flip it over to CWKYT. That's high school basketball. Bryan Station, Lexington Christian Academy from LCA at 8 o'clock on CWKYT. That's sports, and we'll wrap things up after this.
All right, things are getting down and dirty at Rupp Arena. 150 truckloads of dirt were dumped onto the floor of Rupp today. They're getting ready for this weekend's AMA Arena Cross Races. Hundreds of dirt bike races will compete Saturday and Sunday. This is the first time that the series has come to Lexington, so excitement there.
That is always amazing to see how they get it in there and then get it out, and there's none left over.
That's right.
Hope we don't have any sprinkler system malfunction down at Rupp. Could get a little ugly.
And cleaned up in time for next week with the sport boat.
You got it. That's coming up next week as well. This weather gets you in the spring spirit because it's going to continue to feel like that into the upcoming weekend. Even though a little cooler early next week, we're still doing okay.
All right, and we are testing synthetic marijuana tonight at 11. We'll see you then.
CBS News is next. Have a good evening.